Britain in lane 5, the 23-year-old. And here comes Regan Smith. The 2019 World Championships are coming out for Regan Smith. We had a chance to talk to her at the pre-Olympic camp in Hawaii. She was very frank with us, Rowdy. She said, I had a hard time handling the instant fame which comes with breaking not one record but 2 world records in the 100 and the 200 in that meet. She said she kind of had to get her confidence back, so it's been a struggle for Regan Smith. And had the games not been postponed, Regan Smith was in a better position in 2020 than 2021.
We talked about it in the prelims. I really thought she was going to win at least the 100 and 200 back. I thought she was the gold medal favorite in the 200 fly. You add a couple relays to that, and she would have been a big, big superstar. And this is what happens when the Olympics is delayed 1 year. It can be a detriment to some, and some can move up, like Ryan White, who most likely would not have made the team a year ago.
So it's Ryan White in lane 3. And just below her in lane 4 is Regan Smith. The first of 2 semifinals. The objective, get into the final 8 when they race for the medals. Regan Smith from Lakeville, Minnesota, just 19 years old.
I think our Michelle Tafoya kind of likes that Minnesota girl going out there. Regan Smith, she has been the key to these women's hopes here in the backstroke the last couple of years. She had her best second 50 since her world record 2 years ago, Dan. Right there in the middle, lane number 4. She was the second one that broke that Olympic record in the heats. Kylie Moss was the first, and then McEwen tagged it at the end.
Well, the 2 Americans and Kathleen Dawson all
Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And right now at 11, after a dry evening, as we look live from our iCam in the capital city tonight, with the last hour, some rain has moved in parts of Connecticut. Meteorologist Mark Dixon's in the early warning weather center right now with where the rain is and how long it's going to last. Plus, it's about time. It's going to get hot just in time for the start of this new last week of the month. Mark?
Yes, indeed. The week will start off hot and humid for sure. More on that in just a moment. Yeah, we do have some downpours working through parts of Connecticut right now. There was one downpour over Southbury. You can see how it's been diminishing as it works into Oxford. The heaviest of the rain with some embedded thunder is moving across southwest Connecticut, specifically over Fairfield County, Wilton, into New Canaan and Norwalk. So northeastern Connecticut, there are a couple of showers working over Stafford. That one is briefly heavy as it works toward the east and southeast, toward I-84 and toward Union. So all this will be winding down with the passage of a front tonight. Meanwhile, today temperatures with some late day sunshine rallied, especially central and western Connecticut, getting close to the 80-degree mark. Danbury making it to 82. Here in the 11 o'clock hour, still warm, it's still muggy. We've got temps between 70 and 75. West Haven 74. But when you factor in the high humidity that feels like the heat index value close to 80 right now, 71 Washington feeling like 76. So throughout the region, the development this evening has been very isolated. We were tracking that thunderstorm out of the Berkshires working toward northern Connecticut. That has weakened dramatically, and then we've got that little cluster again that's going to be clipping southwest Connecticut. So Futurecast over the next couple of hours showing how things really tend to wind down. Fog will likely be developing, kind of patchy as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. So keep that in mind for your morning commute, as it could reduce visibility. For the day ahead, it's going to be warm, near 70 at 7 a.m. So no big drop in temperature while we're sleeping. We're in the low and mid 80s by lunchtime tomorrow. By the afternoon, topping out near 90 inland, a couple degrees cooler at the shoreline. And while the day starts humid, we've got dew point values near 70 right now. That's where they're going to be tomorrow morning. But notice as the day progresses, some drier air moves into the state, and the humidity will start to decrease with those dew point values going from the 60s into the 50s. We'll talk about how long that lasts and more chances for rain and storms as we head toward the weekend ahead in the early warning 7-day forecast.
This is an unnecessary predicament we're putting ourselves in.
Vaccination rates in the U.S. have slowed as COVID cases are surging. All 50 states reporting increased cases numbers this past week. According to the CDC, 30 states have yet to get at least 50% of residents fully vaccinated. Doctors say the majority of those getting infected are people who have had a COVID-19 shot, who have not had a COVID-19.
Our hospitals are filling up with unvaccinated patients who are sick and much younger than the patients that we saw just a couple of months ago.
Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci, one of the nation's most trusted sources during this pandemic, says top health authorities are actively discussing whether mask guidance should be reinstated, even for fully vaccinated Americans. And we could tell you the Biden administration is also talking about mask guidelines, and the CDC is reconsidering its stance on masks. Right here in Connecticut, we're dealing now with the own mask surge of cases. The state's positivity rate at the highest levels that we've seen since May, currently at 1.73%. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Dennis Valera is in the newsroom right now. Dennis, you talked with people tonight about the possibility of mask mandates coming back, and there is some frustration out there, isn't there?
Yes, Kevin, definitely. We talked to people in West Hartford. They feel this is all entirely avoidable, but many said they'd comply with the new mandate, especially to protect our youngest, with 12 to 15-year-olds the least vaccinated in the state, and anyone younger hasn't been allowed to get their shots yet.
Good job, guys.
Greg Cole's kids aren't old enough to be vaccinated yet, so whenever they're out, he'll have a mask on with them, even though he's vaccinated.
I really wear a mask because I don't want to ask them to do something I'm not going to do myself. And they still need to wear a mask in public, especially in closed spaces.
His kids are why he'd comply with a new mask mandate and other restrictions if they returned, as the Delta variant fuels spikes in Connecticut and nationwide. But given how accessible vaccines are, Cole says this shouldn't happen.
It makes it harder to face the upcoming consequences, and it feels like it'll be harder to grind through them knowing we don't have to be there.
West Hartford Center has been a big sign of normalcy since the state fully reopened. Martha Guidry says potentially losing all that would be a blow, but if it helps curb infection, especially with kids, she's game.
Maybe they get the Delta variant and they're not very sick, but what do we know about 10, 20 years down the road, what impact they may have on their health, their personal well-being? We just don't know the answer to that.
Most school districts start the new year in 5 or 6 weeks, the amount of time it takes to be fully vaccinated with a 2-dose vaccine. West Hartford Public Schools has been urging parents getting their kids vaccinated goes beyond protection from the virus.
This year, if you're vaccinated and asymptomatic, an exposure won't put you out for 2 weeks. It won't put you out for 10 days. You'll be able to take part in practices. You'll be able to take part in sports. You'll be able to take part in class.
Nearly 43% of 12 to 15-year-olds are fully vaccinated in the state. Overall, more than 58% of the population is fully vaccinated. Live in the newsroom, Dennis Valera, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Dennis. We want to know what you think. With cases rising and more reports of breakthrough cases, do you think mask mandates should be put back into place? That is tonight's Vote Now question. Just head to the WFSB.com/vote now and weigh in your answer.